Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. Today we are racing from Mugello. Mugello, which is in Italy, has been used for Formula One. We are in the Honda Civic today. We are going 15 laps, so this is another long race. You may be sensing a pattern that most of my videos are long races. The reason for that is because I like them. That's the only reason. Long races are better. You kind of go through the shenanigans and you have enough time to make up for it, which is what I like about it. So we started 8th in this race, so we're heading to turn 1 right now. And normally we like to be inside, but we're going to go outside because it looks like all the fun is on the inside and we're going to scrape by. We're going to go very cautious because things like that happen. We want to make sure that we're clean. A little bump there for the Honda in front of me. Lots of Hondas in this race, as you can see, and most of them are unliveried. I'm not sure if that's because my livery thing isn't working, although I do see that car had a 7-Up livery. So it could be that people just don't want to add liveries to their cars. That's fine, no problem. We're getting by Voidable here as we start up the hill. This is probably my favorite portion of this circuit, just coming up the hill. Little shift to decelerate instead of hitting the brakes. It's kind of nice. I like it. We're here in 6th place. Well, make it 5th as Beard goes away. So now we're in the top 5 already. So that's a good solid start. I like it. Whereas we head into the hairpin here, this is a 2nd gear for deceleration and then immediately into 3rd when you're accelerating out. That kind of gets things going. We head through these S's here. There are a lot of S's on this track. F1's used it a couple times. They used it during the pandemic because they couldn't race in certain places. So it kind of rose out. The Romagna Grand Prix, I think, is what it was. I can't remember. We're coming up to the finish of lap 1. We're checking our tire wear just to see where we're at. It looks like we're running 10% a lap, so these should go 5 to 6 laps. This is the first time I'm watching this. The cuts are in here already, although because I did run up through the pit stops and put in the cuts and, you know, made little edits here and there to shorten it up, but not really shorten it up, but to take out some of the unnecessaries as we go off the track there, and there's no penalty. Good. That's a good thing to know. So we go into this next semi-S/chicane. It's a 3rd gear corner in the Honda. I've done it in 4th, I think, in the GTI, but I don't remember. I do so many of these races. There goes Xbox Fan off of the track there. So now we're into 4th, and we are coming up to Shagamuzzi. Gaining slowly but surely. We're trying to stay within 3 seconds of lip. I don't know what the strategies are because I really didn't look at the other cars. I usually don't. Because one of the flaws of the game is that you cannot see what the other guys are running as far as their tires. But, you know, there's lots of flaws in this game. But that's kind of a big one. I like to know what guys are running. You can see it at the beginning, but after that you have no idea. So we're just going to kind of wing it as we're gaining on Shagamuzzi. As we're coming to the end of lap 2, we're probably going to be about 201, 202 on this lap. I'm checking the wear again just to make sure where we're at. I'm very sure now of when I'm going to be pitting on this set of tires, so we're in good shape. There's a 201.4, so that's not bad for a second lap. I did have a little exclamation point on it, so we haven't run our true fast lap yet. But right now, that is our faster lap since there's only been 2 of them. So we're heading back through the S's again. That was turn 3. We're heading down to the 4-5 complex now. And there it is. We're keeping close to Shagamutsi, but we're not going to do anything stupid right now. It's a long race. There's no reason to. Shagamutsi kind of pushes it a little bit, ends up in the dirt, loses a little time. We're coming down this hill. There you can see the shortcut for the short course, which I actually like on this track too. The short course is pretty good. But now we start to head up the hill. We're in Shagamutsi's draft right now, but we're not getting anywhere. We are gaining on him in the corners, so the Honda is handling a little better than the MG. That is an MG in front of me, I'm pretty sure. But we're doing pretty well so far. You know, top 4 starting 8th. People kind of getting here and there. We're in pretty good shape. We're staying within 3 seconds of the lead. That's where we want to be. So, you know, we're running pretty well right now as we start to head into the final corner, coming down the hill. We get a little time on Shagamutsi, but we're coming down to the end of lap 3. We kind of got held up a little bit, so we're going to be a lot slower this lap. 2:02.399 is now our official fast lap, even though the lap before was our fastest. So we're going to make a move here, and Shagamutsi goes to the outside. We decide not to press the issue because there's no reason to press the issue on the 4th of 15 laps. You know, it's a half an hour long race. Take your time. As we head down into 4-5 again. We're still keeping up. That's all we want to do is keep up. Auto Team Lamali, meanwhile, has taken the lead. We're still within 3 seconds of that, and that's where we want to be. As we head down into 6 and 7. I really like the flow of this track. I used to not like it, but that's because it had the glitch coming out of turn 3, where if you ended up in the paint, it threw you away. It still kind of has that in turn 2, so I'm a little wary there, but I don't worry about that anymore. Shagamutsi decides to defend. I don't know why. I really wasn't pressing there. But he gave us the position, so good on him. I give him a good race. I wasn't expecting him to do that, so good on him. So here we come accelerating out. We're catching up to Lip 711, which means we're also catching Lamali. So I like where we're headed after 4 laps. As we cross under the bridge here, we're well ahead of the 2:02 from the last lap, even with the little slowdown when Shagamutsi let us go by. We've already opened a 1.5 seconds on him too, so it's we're running pretty well. This is going to be just under 2:02, I think. Oh, not quite. Check of the tires there, 2:02.089. We start lap 5. We are very sure now that we're going to be pitting at lap 6. I don't like to run hard tires on this track, so this will be a 2-stop race. Because that's what I like to do on this track. This was another small lobby like the last video. Only 13 players were in it. So it wasn't a big lobby, which kind of stinks. I think the game, you kind of look at it and say, well, now that it's not being supported, maybe people are not playing, but there are people out there playing. You know, I see it on the Reddit forums. I see it on the Turn 10 forums. I just kind of wish they hadn't pushed all the people, half the people out of Turn 10, and then moved them over to support Horizons. I'm not going to play Horizons. I don't play that game. I don't like open world. I like closed circuit. Call me a snob. I just don't like how that's done. It's not, I mean, this isn't a simulation either, but this is more sim than Horizons is. Horizons is basically straight arcade, and I'm not a fan of that. I like to run on these courses. I love running places like this. You know, I love Watkins Glen, Laguna Seca. I love those tracks. I love running closed circuit. I don't like open world. I just wish they had done better work on this game. I think at some point, I'm hoping, like I said in the last video with the last decisions that they made, as we just ran a 2:01.1, so that's a nice fast lap. I'm hoping that with the decisions they've been making recently that they kind of push these turn 10 people back over to turn 10 and restart support on this game, because it is a solid game. It's a solid racing game. It's got some issues. The penalty system is still, and these will always be there unless they make the change to reverse the decision on the turn 10 people. But you know, the penalty system's going to be bad. There's going to be these little glitches that pop up and nobody likes. It's just the way it goes, unfortunately. And we just kind of have to live with the game in the state that it's in. So we're heading up the hill again. And now we are on the tails of both guys. I don't know. I don't know if they're running medium or hard, but we're going to find out real fast, because I intend to pit after this lap. And we're going to make a move here on Lip and get it done. Lip was, again, nice enough to let up and let us go. Lamali just picked up a 4/10 penalty, or that may have been around for a while and I wasn't paying attention. But we are going to try. Are we going to make a move here? I don't know. Yes, we are. And Lamali comes down on us. Apex hunting syndrome. People that run with the line tend to do that. And it looks like I'm in. Lamali is in. Lip stays out. And so just like to remind everybody, if you're enjoying the video, to please like and subscribe. Comment on it if you wish. Let's keep the comments on topic and clean, please. Thank you. As we come out of the pits for lap 7, we lost 2 positions. Looks like Lamali's teammate Rilu is in 3rd and 5.4 seconds. So the guys in front of us may be running hards, probably. I honestly don't know if anyone would be daring. I'm going to use the word daring instead of the other D word I was going to use, but daring enough to run mediums for 7 or 8 laps. I don't see it on this track. I've done it on Kailami, but Kailami is much easier on tires than Mugello. As we start to head back up the hill, we are gaining on Rilu. Rilu also has a 0.6 of a second penalty. We are picking up some good time on Rilu now. As we head into these S's here, this is more of a chicane than an S, but there's lots of these, quote, chicane/S's. We're now 3.4 seconds behind Rilu as we head into the hairpin. We're getting a great exit out of here. We picked up a couple tenths out of the exit. This S here, you can kind of cut really good. Lip has gone into the pits, so I'm thinking he stretched his mediums out to 7, which, you know, you can do. I don't recommend it. Or he could have been on hards. Don't know yet. We're going to find out. My guess is he's probably on hards. So we're going to pass Lip and take the lead. I don't know where Relu went. Did he go into the pits? I didn't see. Lamali gets around Lip. Lamali is almost 3 seconds behind us now. So we've got a comfortable lead. A lead! Again! This is 2 videos in a row. I don't know where this is coming from. Probably the small lobbies. Probably. I haven't run into the aliens I normally run into in these touring car races, so and that doesn't bother me. I like being in front for a little while. We're gonna head down the hill here where our lead is expanding. I think these guys, I don't want to guess. I'm guessing they're on hard tires. They could be on mediums also, and I just have a better handling auto than they do, but we'll see. We're gonna brake here, get into this little chicane /S and head toward the hairpin. Lead's gonna get close to 5 seconds now. Lip has passed Lamali, so good on Lip. This has been a really clean race, which is, at least from up here, it's been clean. I don't know about what's been going on in positions back from 7 down, but up here it's been really clean. We're coming to the end of lap 8. We're in the final corner heading toward the pits. We're not going to worry about the pits. We're not even going to check our tire wear. Now we got a pretty good idea of what's going on with it. So we don't have to worry about checking that. And there's our first sub 201, 20099. Wow. 1/1000th of a second is as close as you can get to 201 flat on this game. I'm sure it's counting more than that, but on the display, it's 1/1000th of a second. So we cracked the sub 201. Next goal is going to be 2 minutes. I don't know if we can do it on these tires. Just because I'm not the fastest guy in the world, nor do I claim to be. I just like to drive. I love to race. And I love to sim race. If I wasn't such a large human being like I am, I probably would have gotten into it. But at the time that I was getting ready to go, I'm 6'2" at the time. This is my late teens, so I was probably 6'2", about 220. Too big for the cars I wanted to race. I wanted to do open wheel. I did a lot of runs at this old place called Malibu Grand Prix. One of my brothers used to work there. One of the Bogey brothers used to work there, and I used to get free laps. So I'd go up there, buy some laps, and then the guys, they knew who I was, so they would let me through, run some bonus laps. And these were in their, quote, Virage cars, which was their second fastest car. They had the little ones for the kids, and then they had the Virage, and then they had the Grand Virage, which I qualified for, but that thing was just, that was hard to drive, and I couldn't really get used to it. But I was one of the top 5 runners at that place in San Diego, and the other guys that were in there were my brother and 3 employees, and the people that were below that were employees, and they weren't happy that some guy off the street was running them ragged. But I did enjoy it. I still kind of throw my cars around on the street. Don't tell anybody. But I have a history of cars that are like the old 2+2 coupes from the 90s, and hatchbacks, the sport hatchbacks. I loved those cars, and they helped me become a better driver in the long run. As we continue to throw this car around, unfortunately, I never owned a Honda Civic Type R or SI. I really liked these cars. Well, I test drove in a 1990 Civic SI and almost bought it, but the guy... so I took my childhood best friend with me to test drive, and the salesperson took me out on their test loop, and I was babying it. It was a new car. I was being nice, and the guy said, "Go ahead and let her rip." So I did, and I was redlining, which isn't good in a new car. I was redlining. I was, I was matching. I figured out the rev matching, so I was matching and downshifting. And I wasn't heeling and towing. I wasn't at that stage yet. I was only, 21, and I wasn't good enough to heel and tow, but I was able to figure out the match. And we went through this neighborhood. I was taking it easy, and then he told me to stop, and I matched down to stop, and we stopped in this neighborhood. And I turned and looked at him and my best friend in the back seat, and they were both as white as a sheet. And the salesman asked me, "So when were you planning on replacing the clutch in this car?" And that's when I knew I wasn't going to buy the car, at least not from him, because I said, if I end up driving this car this way, I should never have to replace the clutch in it. And it turns out I ended up buying a 1990 Geostorm GSI. Now, this was back in 1990, so these were when these hatches were just coming out. The CRX SI was a couple years old. Dodge was building the Omni GLH. That was a Shelby. It was the GLH stood for Goes Like Hell. But those cars were out, but nobody was really... And the Escort GT, but that thing was a piece. But nobody was really building these cars, and there was the Isuzu Impulse, which the Storm was based on. If you go on Google and look for the 1990 Geostorm GSI and see one that's screaming yellow with the kind of a spoiler in the back, that was my car. At least that's what it's looked like. It's not my car, but that's what it looked like. We just turned a fast lap on 11. 2 minutes 6:20 on the mediums. Chagamutsi has gone into the pits, so he's running a medium soft for sure. We flipped to minor tire wear. So back to what I'm talking about. So I went out to test drive this Geostorm, and the sales guy was a younger guy like myself. He was probably a couple years older than me, and he raced cars. So he goes, "What are you looking for?" I go, "I want something that handles. I don't need something that goes super duper fast. I just want it to handle." And he said, "Okay, well, this car will do that, and it will go fast." And I went, "Okay, let's take it out." And I ran it up and down. I got it up to about 90 miles an hour. Don't tell anybody. On Interstate 805 in San Diego. Got it turned around, went back to the dealership. The guy asked me what I think, and I said, I want the car. Let me go take care of the financing through my own bank, and we'll do it. So I went to my godfather. God bless that man. Love him to death. I'll talk about him maybe in a future video, since I seem to like rambling. But he got me a car loan. It was a $12,000 car. He got me a $12,000 loan. And back then when you were 21, those cost you 13% APR. So I had a really awful car payment. But I got the car. The guy delivered it. It was great. We're going to go into the pits here and remind you that if you're enjoying the content and you're enjoying listening to me ramble and you're enjoying watching the races, please like, subscribe, comment below. Again, keep the comments clean. Kids may be watching these. So we've pitted and gone to soft tires, and we're into lap 13. There's a new name on the leaderboard, Lion Zera, 5 seconds ahead and probably on hard tires. So we'll keep an eye on that. Shagamutsi is 9.5 seconds behind. We're not worried about him. So back to this Geostorm. Within a few days, I figured out how to match the revs. And I drove that car 145,000 miles in 10 years and never replaced the clutch. And I drove that thing into the ground. I blew a timing chain on it, so I had to get the engine replaced. Well, not the engine, but the valves had to be replaced because they got all effed up. But that wasn't a big deal to me. And that was really the only major thing that happened. I thought the clutch was going bad at one point, but it turned out the firewall was collapsing. Good on Isuzu. It turned out the firewall was collapsing. It was pitching my clutch cable. The mechanic that fixed it, I knew very well. We used to play softball together. We kind of grew up in in our 20s together, so I knew him really well, and he fixed it. Never had a problem with the clutch in 10 years. So Honda guy, if you're still out there, screw you. I didn't do anything wrong to the car. So Lip is pitted, so we're gonna get ourselves on the podium now. As we go to lap 14, this will be the last 2 laps. We're on softs. We're gonna be able to go. These guys in front of me, I think Lamali is must be on hard tires, and I know Lion Zera is on hard tires, so we're gonna gain on these guys. It just depends on how fast. But now I've got them in front of me. I can see them. The red mist is coming, or maybe just the mist. It's not red mist. I didn't have anything to be angry over in this race. It was really clean. It's been really clean so far. I haven't had anyone whack me off the track or try and pit me or try and cut my nose off after coming out of a corner. Yes, I'm looking at you, Lord Sewell. So it's been a really clean race. Ooh, those guys are going side by side, and Lion Zera gets him. Ooh, that makes things interesting, doesn't it? We're still closing the gap. I don't know if we're going to catch either of these guys, but we're getting there. Lamali looks like he's struggling with the tires. So we're picking up on him pretty quick. Just got to find a place to pass that's clean. Drivers on this game, please learn to pass where you can and it's clean. Not every corner is a passing opportunity. But we're going to come up on one right now. We're going to go to the outside of Lamali. We've got the gain, and we're braking at the same time. I had to kind of stay outside of them, but we're going to do the cross under or a crossover, but we got him either way. So Lamali now is in third. We are now in second. Lip is 6.5 seconds back and probably on soft tires also, and we have nothing to worry about there. So we're heading down on our final lap, and we're going into turn 1. We are gaining on Lion Zera. We're trying to get up to him as quickly as possible, because I know at this point the tires have got to be falling off. If he went hards 8.7, even at 7, they're probably still falling off. So this would be a good time for me to start putting some pressure. We are gaining because his tires are not as good as ours, at least. So this is going to be an interesting finish. We're heading down the hill. These are a couple of good fourth gear corners. And then we're gonna head up the hill here. We're getting to fifth, drop down into fourth. No brakes there, we're just dropping into fourth. We hit fifth again, drop back into fourth. As we come up the hill, oh, little error there, little slide on the curb. But we are on Lions Era, and now it's just a matter of finding the place to pass. And so we're coming into the hairpin. We're too far away to try something. So we'll go into the hairpin. This is exciting. I mean, we're half a second back, and we are, oh, here we go, 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 go. Oh, had to kind of back out. Oh, and there's an off track. No penalty. Oh, the gods are with me as we're going to try the outside here on Lions Era, and we're not going to do it, and he's not going to let us get into the crossover. Oh, a little bump. Heading down to the end of the race. Lions Era's got me. The draft is not going to help. Oh, 1/10 of a second. Oh, 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 that hurts my balls. Yeah, I said it. Second place, 1/10 of a second. Almost exactly, 0.101. Fast lap, 2:00.019. Let's watch the podium ceremony. It's bittersweet, but what a great race. Oh, reminds me of a race I ran on Gran Turismo Sport once where I beat a guy for the podium by 1/100th of a second. That was fun. Thanks everybody for watching.